Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing, first day of September, Friday. Looking at the map, a lot of moisture, monsoonal moisture surging up through Utah, parts of southern, central Nevada. And then these showers in the north end are with an approaching cold front coming through from the north. So we actually have moisture coming up from the south and from the north, and it all collides and comes together here. Now, amongst all of that, we still have a narrow wedge of strong winds, low humidity across an ever shrinking area of central Nevada. Have to keep an eye on that. Any odd surprises of fire starts would be in those areas. But then you see Saturday and Sunday showers overspread much of the area, and some of that rain could be heavy. And it was heavy here in the south, the Arizona Strip, parts of southwest Utah, these areas in the green, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And it's slowly pushing northwards. You see tons of lightning, thousands of lightning strikes. Not much in the way of new starts, as a lot of this has juicy moisture. Just a handful of small starts here in the red, otherwise light initial attack. And we've dried out this past week, these past 7 days in the western areas, but there was still some light to moderate precipitation in eastern Utah and parts of the central Idaho mountains. But you can see between 1 and 2 weeks ago, we had a huge monsoonal surge along with the remnants of Hurricane Hillary, 3, 4 inches of rain in some areas of southern Nevada and the central Idaho mountains. So that has taken its toll, and we have more on the way. Now, with the recent drying, we've had a handful of stations pop up in the yellow here on our ERC point map. That's only the 50th to 70th percentile. Now, some of the grasses have dried out a little bit more. We had some fires a couple days ago in the Snake River Plain, but by and large, everything's in the green and will get greener. Now, it's the first of the month. Some of our live fuel moistures are coming in. This is from the West Desert District up in the Salt Lake Field office. I've put out this 100% line. This is the boundary between high and extreme fire danger. And you can see a lot of the stations drop down, and some of them have started to come back up a little bit with the moisture, but a lot of them still under this critical level. So that means that if we get a week of dry weather and the grasses dry out, the sagebrush still is at a very critical level. Similar down into the Fillmore field office. A lot of the stations came up a little bit, about 10%, but they're still around some of those higher levels. That's something to keep in mind. Now, looking at the satellite imagery, and what we're seeing here is a couple of things. A ton of monsoonal moisture pushing up from the south. In addition to that, we also have, with this upper level low, moisture across western and northern areas, and just a little narrow wedge of dry air, which will get quickly filled in the next 12 to 24 hours, and that's that little wedge right there. Otherwise, lots of moisture streaming northwards and increasing humidities up north. 7 day, a lot more moistening ongoing. You can see the humidities on the right, a lot of areas above 30%, above 50% in some areas, but there's a narrow wedge here from central Nevada into parts of far southern Idaho where we're somewhere between 15 and 25%. And here's the belt of strong winds in those areas, as you typically have with a front. So we'd have to watch some of these locations, but fuels are marginally dry at best, and some of them not even that. Now, on Saturday, still we have those two distinct moisture areas in the west and coming up from the south very slowly. All areas in the green because the humidity comes up in these areas of central Nevada as well. Otherwise, continued high humidity elsewhere. Despite the winds here of 30 to 40 miles per hour, humidity should be 30 to 40%, so we're not as concerned tomorrow. And the moisture really fills in on Sunday. You can see, even though we have winds, we also have high humidity across all areas. And this is the 3 day precipitation map. The blues are a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of rain, and some of the purples are 1.5 to 2 inches. You can see a large portion of our area gets significant rains, possible flooding in some of the national parks down in southwest Utah. Also some flooding possible in parts of southern Nevada, some heavy precip in the Sierra front and into the Idaho and Wyoming mountains, just about everywhere. And that precipitation cloud cover moves north but lingers across Idaho, Wyoming, and far northern Utah, even on Monday, while drying slowly takes place in the south, and then drying ensues in a larger extent. On Tuesday is a little disturbance here on the models on Tuesday, and it pushes across the central Idaho mountains with some bonus light precipitation and high humidity there for Wednesday. Drying elsewhere and drying for all areas with seasonable temperatures. It'll be warm up, but back to near normal levels by Thursday. 7-day precipitation totals, you can see again those heavy areas covering just about all of our area. And the 8 to 14 day does show a return to above normal temperatures and drier than normal conditions for most areas. So we'll see how that plays out for the middle part of September. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.